Looking forward to seeing how this is going to work out. Let's check out how the highlights Sooty went in race number 1, because very exciting stuff for the BNC NZ Touring Cars. Rolling start and beautiful start for Simon Evans, who was always going to lead them through that first corner.
Yes, he was, and if he didn't, he should give himself an uppercut, because you've got the line, you've got the run, you own it, and you should own it, and that let Angus Fogg sit in behind as he should. Edgell tried to get him, but couldn't quite make it happen.
Bryce forward with a big move on Jason Bargwan, and Barg saw him coming and gave him plenty of room. That's a Heimgartner-owned car that Bryce is driving here this weekend.
Yeah, then there was a little bit of an issue for Edgell, who just overshot on his brakes. He wasn't the only one to have issues across the weekend.
He was fighting with Mitch Cunningham for pretty much the entire race. Those two had a cracking battle. Saw Cunningham run wide. Forward was chasing him down, but he had gearbox issues. He lost 3rd gear, then he lost 4th gear, and then it was pretty much done from there. Higgins with a little bit of a spin in the Racer Products Falcon. Beautifully presented car, that one. This was the moment, though. A wild spin for Angus Fogg and the Property Tutors car. So close to being in the way when the traffic arrived, but he's a smart man. He knows what he's doing. Got the hell out of there. This guy got the win, cruised, had a little bit of traffic, but nothing was stopping the Smeg Commodore in front of his home crowd, his family here this weekend. Simon Evans got the win. For this one at least, is set from the 2nd fastest time in qualifying, a bit like Formula 4 actually back home in Oz. Still sees the same pole sitter though, Evans, although this time we see Cunningham go up to the front row. Foggy goes back to 3rd alongside Tim Edgell. Bargs goes back a spot to 5th, but he has the inside sit down towards turn 1. The good news is for Bryce Forward that it wasn't progressive from his DNF, because it puts him back out there. Craig Baird, you would have seen his name. He actually missed out on getting a good starting position for the final race coming up later on, because he unfortunately didn't start in race number 1, so he had no points from that first one. Plenty of drivers in our TL cars, which is class 2. Fleming, Pilcher, Lathrop, Cooley, Williams, who's the fastest in that bunch of cars, only got the 1 fast lap in. And Alyssa Clapperton, fantastic story about her and Bryce Forward in the paper today, being the rookies starting their careers at Pukekohe. It'll be Evans and Cunningham to lead us to the green flag. We love rolling starts. Race 3 is actually a grid start, so they mix it up in many different ways, and they are on top of each other. The TL guy said, let's not worry about the gap, let's jump right on him. Bargwana jumps, goes to the right-hand side. Nick Ross, after engine failure in qualifying, try to find some room, but there's no way through for either of them. They fall back into line through turn 1. Cunningham has a huge dive. It forces Evans wide, and that's how you take the race lead. Fogg just rails it around the outside as well. He knows it's important to get in front of Simon Evans early, because Evans has the fastest car here this weekend. Great move, Cunningham. It's just aggression.
Evans is a very lucky man to hold on to that spot. Will Angus trying the courageous run around the outside to hold the inside line? He does, but he's spat out wide. Very lucky on the entry there not to catch up with Edgell. So I think that's okay. I think Simon had every right to hold that line. Courageous, as I said, for Fogg to try and even think about going down the outside.
Here's a battle forward, trying to follow Edgell through on the inside. That left Jason Bargwana and the Toyota Camry on the high line. Bargs will have to back out of this one. Forward's got him. You'll have to worry about Craig Baird in behind him.
I spoke with Bargs yesterday about the style of this, called the TLX model race car compared to the Super Tourer model car. He said the problem also is the aero when he's stuck in behind a Super Tourer coming over the hill in particular. Oh dear. It gets loose like a NASCAR. He said the aero affects him, so he's got a few things to deal with there. Angus
Fogg just had an almighty moment in turn 1. The back end stood around. The Property Tutors.com car was very close to losing it.
Yeah, he's been doing a little bit too much of that this weekend so far. He's got to calm that down.
Classic Foggy. Just drives this thing on the edge. Here comes forward. Let's look at Edgell. This will be impressive if he can get around a guy who knows Pukekohe well. This is Forward's first ever time here, and Bargwana has damage to the left rear. Let's take another look at this start. Cunningham went at the exact same time that Evans went. Bargwana looked to the inside of Fogg, decided he wouldn't do it, but it was the aggressive move at turn 1, or more like turn 3 really, where Cunningham got the job done. He just shoved it to the inside. Here it is. Wasn't taking no for an answer.
And Evans had no choice, absolutely no choice but to go that line. Came back on safely, that's fine. I thought Angus might have got a better run, but he might have just been checked slightly on the curbing.
And this is the one here. Evans, all being fair, probably Could have given Foggy a bit more room to play ball with there.
Yeah, it'll be a 50-50, and there's Angus being Angus.
Oh, man.
A beautiful slow motion vision there of the bumps and the wobbles on turn 1 at Pukekohe. There really is only one perfect line through there, and it's so hard to get it. It's only a few millimetres off the curb.
Now, Bargwanna already had big damage to the back of the Camry by that point. As forward, actually, no, bad, sorry. Picked him off. So that was happening during our replay cycle. Got green flags being waved down there, which means someone's off, and it's Fog.
He does try. He puts himself right on the edge and often over it.
And Alyssa Clapperton with a little bit of damage to the left-hand side of that car from qualifying still. Like I said in the paper earlier today.
Just a pure break overshoot there.
At a moment all unto himself.
Yeah, a little bit of marble maybe. A little bit of the wrong line. I can see what he was trying to do. Try and come in wide and cut through. Yes, it's been that all weekend, hasn't it? The rear end. Very wobbly, but it seems to suit him, and maybe they've loosened it up for him.
Now forward here on the charge. He's chased down Edgell. He lost 3rd and 4th gear yesterday. Desperate to get a good drive in the Dunlop Series back in Australia. He's been driving with Paul Morris Motorsport and really wants to keep progressing his career forward, making sure that he is a race winner in the future of the Dunlop Series. Yeah, well, he showed his talent to New Zealand at the first round at Taupo, which was only about 3 weekends ago. He's come over for seat time, and he's proven that he's worthy of driving a heavy, big, grunty V8 touring car, and I can see big things for his future. I really can, with his style of driving. He's definitely got a craft. We're looking at the Class 2 cars. Used to be called TL Series. There's another one down. McDonald into the wall. We're trying to work out where that is while these fellows go too wide into turn 5. There he is. So local yellows down there will mean no passing. And that's Blair McDonald.
So he's got it restarted. So that's a good thing.
That ruined what was a pretty good little battle going on there in TL. Now that the green flags are out, Lathrop says, now I'll get you. Up the inside of Fleming, who loses 2 in 1 corner there. As Liam McDonald, 18 years of age, raced here when he was 15. 2 seasons ago, swings on by as well.
Nice job there from Brad Lathrop, who's come up to the heavy machines from the Pro 7s, the RX-7s.
Battle for the lead. Evans has caught Cunningham. 2 Ripper families from New Zealand Motorsport here. Both with brothers who have achieved fantastic things in motorsport. You've got Wade Cunningham, who I think is a former Indy Lights champion and has had great success running in open wheelers in Europe and also in America. And then you've got Mitch Evans, Simon Evans' brother, who's also had a fabulous career in GP2 and also now LMP2. There was the moment for Blair McDonald, Atleast Concrete.
Self-inflicted wound there.
Catching a few out, isn't it, turn 5?
It really is.
Just watch Cunningham's car in a straight line. Just doesn't look comfortable on the bumps. Look at it, lurching around. He is vulnerable, and Evans will show him no mercy here after the aggressive move that he took earlier.
The issue, though, is how do you set up any car, any style of vehicle for this circuit where you've got such different aspects all around the track. You want something that can grip up well out of a corner and shoot you down this line and then on the front straight over the hill to give you that pace. And then you want something that can handle the bumps. And then you want something that can turn nicely into 3-4. Very difficult job.
Evans was sizing him up. Under brakes down at turn 5. They give each other some room to play with. Bit of respect there shown between the 2 leaders. But Cunningham holds on. Does he defend now? Into turn 8.
There's still a lot of laps left. He's playing a big defensive game.
Evans knows that he's got all the speed in the world here. Look at the lap times. It's been quicker for the last 3. And Nick Ross back in the pits with damage. And that's a shame because they spent all of last night, all of yesterday afternoon and last night changing the engine on that Nissan. A monumental engine failure on that car. It was their new motor too. Cricket ball-sized hole in the top of the motor. I couldn't believe my eyes when I was looking at it. Had the engine crane doing a Nissan transplant for a good 12 hours.